Morning to all of you who are present here in this room today, and welcome to others who will be watching this video later on our YouTube channel. Like all of you know, we have started this new initiative at Utilitarian Labs called the Salesforce Delivery Stories Consultant Knowledge Series. We have already had a couple of videos of this in the past. We are today starting a new implementation experience sharing process. There we have our principal consultant Jishna, who will be sharing her experience implementing Salesforce at one of our customers' place. For all of your information, I think Jishna needs no introduction, but still, Jishna comes with more than 20 years of experience in digital transformation journeys. And as part of her these 20 years of experience in the digital transformation domain, she has done multiple enterprise level Salesforce implementations. And today she is going to share one such implementation that she has executed in her career. What is important for all of us to know is, as usual, in this series of learnings that we have as part of our L&D initiatives at Utilitarian Labs, she is going to share the problem statement that she faced at this customer's place. What was the solution proposed by her as part of the Salesforce implementation partner? What challenges we faced during the implementation, and how did we overcome those challenges during the implementation? I'm sure all these things put together will be a great learning for each one of us. Each one of us come with our own experience implementing Salesforce at different client locations. But probably when we start interacting with each other and sharing these experiences from each other's implementation stories, there is something new that we will learn. And I'm sure which will help us in our future implementation journeys. Right? With that objective in our mind, we started this series of sharing knowledge. Today, we'll continue that with Jishna's experience implementing Salesforce at one of our largest customer in the healthcare domain, right? The manufacturing.
Yes.
Okay. With that, I will hand it over to Jishna to share her experience implementing Salesforce at this customer's place. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you, Kiran, for the brief introduction. And good morning, all. Welcome. And I think you have already attended one or two sessions in the same series. Today, we talk about a manufacturing client who is in the food industry. Okay. So we will start off with I will present the client context and what are the business challenges. Then what is the Salesforce solution overview we did. So business challenges and Salesforce solution, there is certain things that I want to highlight, which we can talk about it. And then what was the implementation challenges that we had, and what was outcome and benefits, and finally, of course, we all want to know what was the key learnings from this implementation, right? So we would look at that. Now, about this client, as I said, the client is a leading food ingredients, manufacturer in the country. They are there in this field for more than 5 decades, and I'm sure all of you would be going to your McD, KFC, and all those things. These are the suppliers worldwide for for all the ingredients, right? And their major business model is they focus on innovative what products. They have their own R&D division in their company, and they come out with a customized formulation based on client needs. Okay, and they have long-term client relationship. When I say that they are there in this industry for the last 5 decades, so obvious, right? Um, Talking about their presence, as I told, they are worldwide well-known company, and they have presence in both pan-India and global operations. And yeah, I mean, they are there across the major metro cities of Bangalore, I mean, of India, right? And also they have this distributor-led model. So there are two types of models that they have. One is their in-house team, and the next one is their distributor-led model, along with a channel partner, etc. Right? So their sales cycle is pretty long generally because it starts off right from identifying the customer to the discovery call, etc. But beyond that is they have the sampling, the trials, and then the approvals, and then again applying it on, like for example, let's say there is a biscuit as a product, right? And let's say there is some cream that they are coming out with. So cream ka ingredients is what they do. And then once they do the sampling of that ingredient, then what they do is they make this biscuit, they make the cream on top of it, and then they supply it to the customer for the next level of trial, right? And once all those things are done, and then once the customer signs off, then is when this goes to the market. They can sell it to the customer. So generally, their the sales cycle is pretty long, and yeah, and they have these QSR products and all those things. So we will come to it slowly. Okay. Okay. Now, here is where I was trying to say that, between my business model and the solution what we provided, they will talk a little bit. So this company, as I said, it is more than 5 decade old. So you all can assume that the employees are also tenured, right? So you know what can be the challenges, because when you have the tenured employees, they have been in this company for a long time and they know they are the rulers, right? I mean, they know what they are doing the best. So uh, breaking that was really tough. Getting a system was one of the requirement of that particular management, but another requirement of that management was they had 4 business units, and this all these 4 business units were working on days. Uh, so this company is part of a larger group, okay? And so this cannot be 4 different companies. This is one company with 4 different business units. These were all working in silos. Each of them had their own way of doing the business, their own sales operations process, everything, every backend. Each team will have their own team. So they will only work with that, and it was not happening. And the second major question was about the cross-selling challenge, right? Like for example, let's say now when you say food ingredients, like let's say they go to an ITC, okay? Now let's say I represent one of their business unit. Let's say I represent a seasoning business, okay? Or let's say I represent a colors business. And let's say she represents, a flavor business, right? Now, when I go there, I am going for, maybe I found that there is a requirement in ITC for some kind of an ice cream related ingredient. Ideally, I should be in a position to talk to them about the colors as well as about the flavor. But no, I will only talk about the color and walk out, and I will not pass the message to her. Why? Because she will get the business. So internal competition was there. So breaking that was the major requirement over there. So which was much beyond fixing fixing a system. So of course, the company came to us was like, because when we do a digital transformation and fix everything into one system and give one particular operations and all those things, definitely everybody will start following that, and it'll work, right? So that was the idea there. And one more challenge the customer was facing was when I said that there is distributor and channel partner, this also had a split saying that for seasoning, one division would work, for channel partner, another division would work. Okay, so this also had a split. So again, there is competition between these two also. The same distributor, 2 people will go and meet. So these are a few of the competitions that challenges that they had. And yeah, I think I have covered all these things. So, there is multiple business unit, and so which was actually leading to poor customer experience. I mean, obviously, you know that, when it comes to an corporate, I mean, it doesn't look good. 2, 3 people from the same company going and presenting over there. So that was the thing. And the last issue was like, um, the best part was each of these business units had their own systems as well. So what was happening? They could not see the funnel in one place. They could not do a forecasting. All these things was a problem, and getting report was a major challenge. So these were the challenges. Before we proceed towards what is the solution that we gave, let's talk about what is the kind of licenses that we had given to them. That is, we had proposed for Sales Cloud and Service Cloud. Sales Cloud was largely for their entire sales process, and then for the R&D coordination, right? So I will come in a bit to like what does the sales process mean and what does R&D coordination mean. And when it comes to Service Cloud, we largely handled their sampling part and the ticket management part. So there was a sampling team, so they largely got into this. And then they also build an external site for their distributors, wherein the distributor can place orders, etc., etc. Right? Um, yeah. Now let's come into our solution. So before coming into our solution, let me talk something about the users, right? Like, let me give some more idea about it. So when I say R&D, or if I have to talk about how the sales process was working, so if there is a prospect where a salesperson is going and meeting up, then the salesperson would ideally talk about their product, and after that, as I told you, they must go and do some kind of sampling wherein the R&D would come into picture, right? So uh, the previous issue, but whatever data they had to share to the R&D team to come and develop some product what they want for that particular customer was a major challenge, right? So here what we have done is we have actually given an access to the R&D team who will get requirement from the salesperson, and then internally in the R&D there's multiple approvals, etc., etc., and then the sampling, etc., process happens. So yeah, so this was one other solution that we proposed. So lead to opportunity, what we had done was like, uh, when a lead is entered, first of all, what was the solution that we gave to the customer? We said we will make this we will make the salespeople product agnostic, right? So there were about 100 sales team members, and so we had multiple divisions. Like we had the seasoning division, we had the colors division, and then we also had flavors and plant-based product, right? So we had all these products over there. So making product agnostic was not easy, because if I know about flavor, I only know about flavor. I will not know about seasoning. But and the R&D team worked also in Xylos. So now what we did was we built a system in such a way that when a lead comes to the system itself, a salesperson, once he starts nurturing the lead, will be able to capture if this particular customer has potential for the other businesses like seasoning, for example, right? A flavor guy will capture in his own lead if this customer has potential for seasoning, and if let's say if he has potential for seasoning, then he would add that, and also say what is the what is the likely business that he can add for seasoning. Okay, so this way he can add for all the 4 divisions, and once it is added, this would be distributed to others also. Now again, distribution is not something which a salesperson would agree to. So we also had this marketing team who is pitching in and doing an verification of this particular lead, and then it will be passed on to the the next team, and they will also just do some kind of research, etc., and understand what is the potential for this particular sales, and they would recommend who all can so, and then we actually enable the account team and all those things once it gets into the accounts, and then we start sharing that particular lead. And that's something which salespeople also welcomed, because there were some incentives attached to it, and uh, and also it was about enabling them, right? So once this is done, like for example, if I am from a flavor, I was able to talk to a seasoning customer also in my own sense, because I would get a R&D member along with me tagged. That's something which we built into the system, right? So I can tag an R&D member along with me. So even though I'm from a flavor business, a seasoning R&D member can tag with me, and together we go connect with the customer. So that way we made them product agnostic. Okay, so yeah. So that was a part of the lead, and from the lead, yes, of course, I mean, it would convert into an account and then to an opportunity wherein once sales and R&D member starts connecting with the customer based on the requirement that they generate, they would initiate for the sampling and all these things. And then once the sampling is approved, then is where they can get the order from the customer, right? So that was for the lead to opportunity. Now, when I say this customer is 5 decade, okay, so definitely there is a huge potential for reselling, right? I mean, there will be loads of people who wants this particular product to be purchased again and again. So what was the solution that we told us? Salesforce is pretty busy in going and acquiring new clients and in existing clients creating new requirements. So they were a couple of sales operations. Again, that was working in Xylo, right? So we brought these all together and we said they will be able to connect to your customers and they will be able to check on if there is any repeat orders and post order request and post the samples and all those things. And if there is any repeat sample requirement, etc., these guys would take over. Right, so that was something which we had done, and once they get the order, this order will be passed on to sales operations, and they would create it in say, I mean, they would fulfill the order. Okay, this was about for the sampling. What is the solution? What we gave this was like once all the approvals etc. is over, once a lead is converted into an account. So there would be your account team and opportunity team that manages the account. You remember sometime back I told that. So this was a team that we used and we told that, okay, now you can share. And it was a challenge, but yeah, finally it was a success for them to do that because there was clear growth in each and every salesperson when they did that. So that is the reason they agreed to it. And another challenge that was there is previously, so they had loads of ingredients, loads of new projects, NPDs, right? There are loads of NPDs that was there available and existing projects also, which was already done, which was trial to customers, maybe for some reason it was nothing. So all these things, they're a repository of products with them, right? Now, when they had this, they would definitely want to take that to the market. So previously what was happening, there was no visibility to the team. Even if I am from a flavor, I still don't know what are the products that is available. So I am comfortable in selling, let's say 5 products. I will go and sell only this while I have 100 products back, right? So with Salesforce, what we started doing is, of course, all of us know that, there is a product and price in Salesforce. So we started, every person can access the products. So we started doing that. And then they also had this thing of saying that certain products should be restricted to each account and certain products, it can be open to everyone. And certain products, the distributors cannot sell in the channel partner mode. So for that, we gave the restrictions with the categorization and we opened up the products. With this, what happened is their reach increased, obviously, because all the products were going to the market, the reach increased. The sales team also was pretty happy seeing that, they are able to access all the products. And if the product is not there, now I remember requirement that has come from the market, and if the product is not there, what they would do, they would request for a new product, right? So if there is a request for a new product, that is if it is not in product portfolio and they're requesting for a new product, then it would go to a product innovation. So there were, they would request for product innovation and then it would categorize for NPD, BDM and all those things. So yeah, I mean, I think let's move on from here. So once the sample is ready, okay, when I say sample is ready, I mean, there are loads of iterations in the product. So once that is ready, then it goes to the customer to the sampling. And once the customer approves to it, the prototype, then it goes for proposal to the finance. So the finance tells that what is the price that can be put and all those things and then moves on with the proposal. And then, yeah, then as usual, the same sales process of negotiation, etc. So they can generate the proposals from the system, and the quotes could be generated, and then they could submit, they could send it to the customer. So if the customer is responding to the quote, we also gave an solution wherein there is a mail that goes. So when the customer responds to the quote, then we kind of change the stages in Salesforce and all those things, right? So they could get to know about it. So next we'll just see through the. I'm so sorry, I got a very bad cold. So yeah. So next we will see through this for the order fulfillment. So here also, what we did is we did an integration with SAP, and they also had multiple other systems where I said that which the R&D team was using for different divisions. So we had integrated with all these systems. Uh, yeah, we are integrated with all these systems, and the data used to seamlessly flow through. And when is this, order is come in, uh, obviously the sales operations will move it into SAP because like via integration. Then there was this people who are from this business would understand this, like, there was something like food code creation, blah, blah, all those things, right? So these things would happen. And yeah, this was the complete their flow. And we also got data like, what is the credit limit and what is the payment that is pending with each customer, etc. We got it from SAP to Salesforce. And this helped the sales guys to follow up for the payment and all those things, right? And also if there is a credit limit issue, then the credit check, and so that the orders doesn't pass through. There's so many automations that we had done with this client, and overall it was a very good project actually, with loads of learnings. Okay. Okay. Now let's see what was the system outcome as per the business requirement. So yeah, so as I said, they wanted a product agnostic sales ecosystem is something what we had created. There's a little bit of repetition because I think I had already spoken about this. And yeah, so the idea was why we bought that sales operations will do rest of the job is because sales can do the only the new generation, new business generation, and the product agnostic thing will help them be efficient in all their product portfolios. Okay. And with this, what we also helped them do was cross-selling. So cross-selling they could achieve easily because of this, because they could identify the opportunity potential across for all their products from each and every customer. And yeah, the target versus achievement view is something which we gave them, and incentive calculation. So each and every sales guys had their own target, and also in the target what we had done was they have their own product target, and they also had the other products targets. So whenever they support or help close close product, I mean business for another product for their colleague, for that also there was some targets, etc. Right? So that's a part which we built in the system. And yeah, the next problem was, they were not having any visibility on forecasting and, the reports and all those things. So that's something what we got it done with this system. And we also built another thing was like, we had given them an app for field visit, right? So if like now, okay, now to talk something about this customer, when I say that they had some 150 users, I mean the salespeople, all they work from home. Okay, hardly there were people who were coming to office. So getting these people go to each and every customer place and ensuring that they are productive is something which our field visit app had fulfilled, wherein they will be able to initially plan. Okay, they can plan their visits, and they can start making the visits, and they also can claim their expenses, etc. through this app. So that's something which we built, which really helped them to check, to understand how many customers were connected and what is the progress, etc., etc. Right? Yeah. So there were quite a few challenges, and I'm sure whether it's consultants, developers, project managers, uh, everybody knows that every project will have challenges, right? So here also we did have challenges. So because these business units were in Xylo, there was a huge conflict, internal conflicts, because when we were coming out with one platform, one understanding, and saying that this will be the operations process for everybody, obvious, there was a problem there. So getting sign off took some time because of that, right? Because each business unit heads were a little reluctant on things. Then because of this itself, we had to do loads of customization. There was complexity in the customization because definitely because these are tenured guys, even the management did not want to have an issue with these people. So they had to please each and every business unit guys. So the complexity was immense over there. And as I mentioned some time back, we had to integrate with multiple systems based on each and every R&D and plus the SAP also. And of course, some marketing systems also we had to integrate. And again, because of the customization, what we had to do was we had to do this project in phase wise. So the initial phase we did it, and then we had to go to a phase 2 and phase 3. But there is a plus point to that also. Like phase 1, I think we did the initial scope, and phase 2 was kind of the feedbacks plus, plus the, and phase 3 kind of stabilized the system, I mean, the adoption completely improved during the phase 3 thing. Because phase 3 is where we actually build the sampling and so many approval process, etc. So that kind of glued down the customer to, I mean, the salesperson to the system. Okay. See, UAT and training had its own challenge because of two things. One is because they were work from home, and another one because the each business unit wanted it separately, and then is your distributor and all these channel partner, etc. So this also we had challenge wherein we had to do multiple training, and the solution to this what we finally gave was we started building small modules with screen recording and videos and all those things, and we started distributing to them, and then we started training them to increase the adoption. Okay. The user management was also complex. Uh, Actually, the PUMD altogether too. So everything, I mean, so it was a little complex there. And then we had to develop multiple customer reporting, custom reports, uh, like for every journey we had to build separate custom reports. And like see, the customer is so tech savvy that, like, for example, CEO was expecting a report, like not with this particular implementation, but he was checking with us, can you get a report on a voice command, right? So that was the requirement. And yeah, as I said sometime back, with the phase 3 implementation, even though people were a little reluctant to use the system initially, but then once we did the sampling and everything on the system, then definitely the adoption increased. And yep. So we can go into the key learnings now, but then I want to mention something which says that, Salesforce implementation, uh, uh, it's more driven by a behavior change, okay? Governance and disciplined execution, and than by the feature alone, right? You build hazard features also in the system, not that everybody is going to adopt that. So we should always start talking to the customers when you start getting into a requirement gathering, etc., etc. we should make right from the management to help them understand this, that there would be some changes that would come, and that change management is something an integral part. And it's not just not about Salesforce, any digital transformation, that's an integral part. Okay. Now, these are few of the key learnings, and this is one of the project that was pretty close to my heart. And so, there are notes that we learned from this particular project. Just to begin with is like, just a Salesforce or a digital transformation cannot fix a Zulu team, right? You need, management alignment on common process across the views. So that is something which is very inevitable, and this is required before even the design finalization. If that was there, I'm sure the project wouldn't have delayed so much, right? So that's one. Then once a customer, there should be only one phase going to the customer, right? So which I said that multiple people would go. Um, so that was something which came in as a learning, how to fix that and all those things. And then we had this cross-selling, cross-selling needs. Yeah. So then we had something like, like to say that this cross-selling, whatever we do, we need a structural enablement, which is again part of the first point itself. And it's not only the intent, like, so the system as well as the internal team should agree to it, which eventually happened, but not at the initial stage. And of course, I mean, any system for that matter, Salesforce, of course, until unless data is perfectly put in, it's like garbage in, garbage out. So that's something which actually we understand, and then, we could train them that only that can get a proper forecasting and all those things. And also the material planning, which is very important for a manufacturing company, right? So material planning is something which they could do with this. Yeah, I think the rest of it is again self-explanatory, wherein we are talking about, high customization increases the power and also the complexity. Since it was completely customized, yes, I mean, the system came out really good, but obviously, I mean, it comes with the complexity wherein the users will have to adopt to it. But of course, because of this, what happened is the system has got scalability, and it can be scaled up at long term, right? Then what else? The bigger trailing that we get was the adoption would improve when a Salesforce becomes process dependent. So if you remember initial scope, what we did is we created the sales process, we created everything. But what what is one thing that will ensure that the salesperson comes into the system, right? I mean, there is no, until and unless there is something in the system that it doesn't allow him to move forward, he would not come back to the system. He is very happy with diary, Excel, phone, etc. When I have been a salesperson previously, I mean, it was tough to make me sit on a system, okay? So we all know that. But at the moment, like, we put their operations process for their day-to-day operations, if you put it into the system, and we make their life easier, that is when they will start adopting the system, correct? So that's this point where I'm saying that, only adoption improves only when salesperson force becomes process dependent. Yeah, the last point is about that phased delivery, wherein the phased delivery actually really helped me to, increase the adoption part of it. And also the business unit silos and all those things was resolved for at least 80%. Okay. Now, what is a consultant takeaway in this? Something which I think you can just read through. Whenever there is an multiple BU ops, as a consultant, you should expect that there would be resistance. When you go for a business, requirement gathering, or when you have a conversation with them, you should be very much aware that, hey, there would be resistance. If there is no resistance, good, yeah, I mean, you're lucky about it. But be well prepared about that and then do your homework accordingly. All right? Have a proper research on that particular company. Do your homework accordingly and only then go for that particular meeting. Okay? So that is the first point on the consultant takeaway. The second point is on your governance, right? So you should start pushing for early governance, except especially when your implementation is very complex, right? So you should start pushing for early governance so that everybody comes into the same page. Here, this is a learning for me also because we hadn't done that in the initial stage, which again led to all the delays, etc. But later we did started doing this, and then the ownership became more clear, and the system started progressing, right? And the last part I have already told that that the opposite part I have already told, which is I'm so sorry about that. Yeah. So here, make Salesforce process dependent. I have already spoken about it. I'm not going to repeat this again because, but I wanted to put it as a consultant's key takeaway, right? And yeah, see, plan phase rollouts. Now, this is another thing, right? As a consultant, what I've seen is, or even me as a consultant, I should be very into like saying that, hey, let's give everything at one go, right? So your scope might say that do something like there will be one word, but what we would do, get in depth into it, take the entire requirement and try to give it to them then and there. I would suggest, my thought is let us not do that. The reason is because what happens is, um, for a salesperson especially, see, you talk about an SAP or an operations or a ERP system and a CRM. Um, for a salesperson, getting into a system is not easy, right? But when it comes to an ERP, what happens? The operations people or finance, they're waiting for a system because they're fed up of sitting and doing these paperworks, right? But if a salesperson, he is happy on the field, nobody to check what is the exact funnel that he has because all is in his diary everywhere. So he's not happy about you giving a system over there. And now when that such team have to develop to a system, you going and further complicating and creating a major system into them. No, don't do that at the first place, right? While he's saying that, I'm not saying that if the customer wants it a little complicated, don't do it. No, I'm not saying that. Do it, but don't make it very perfect to the end, saying that, without this I cannot release. No, make the customer also understand that, right? So phase one, we should only stabilize the system, capture what is required, build it, and then let the sales guys start using it, right? And let all your other connected systems start working that way. Let the data start flowing to and fro. And the entire cycle happens. Then what happens? The sales team, they themselves will come to you saying that, hey, can I get this also done in this? Which ideally what you would have done, in the initial stage itself, you would have started pushing that over there, right? So then they will come back and because they got the taste of it, right? Now they know what your system is. At that phase two, try and optimize the system, right? That time you make it optimize the system and you make it perfect. Now, and in large complex project, maybe a phase three also is required to make it perfect by putting all the process into the system. But yeah, I mean, then it will be welcome. That's my understanding about this. And this was a couple of the learnings that we had. And yeah, and there is one more caption that I wanted to add. As I said, a Salesforce implementation definitely is a change management initiative. And then only it comes to as a technology implementation. First is that, and then only it's technology, right? So that's something as a consultant, I'm not saying blank on the face, but then subtle, if you can make everybody understand, your life will be much easier later when you go to the customer with the product. with the development. Yeah. Thank you. Any questions you can ask, otherwise we can wind up. And thank you for your time. Thank you.
Anybody has any questions? If there are no questions, then let me take this opportunity to thank Jishna. Thank you, Jishna, for walking us through this complex implementation. I think there were great learnings from this project implementation. Definitely, this was a very unique and large, complex Salesforce implementation, probably that we had implemented at a very early stage in our journey. I would say complex from a perspective that there were multiple cross and upselling opportunities that this client had, which were lost before Salesforce implementation was done due to probably the wrong processes that they followed, which we could resolve with the help of Salesforce presentation by bringing all the BUs under one umbrella and under one process, so that those opportunities are not lost. Those data was there on Salesforce for everybody to see, and then the other teams could pick up those opportunities and sell. So obviously that would have added revenue to the client at the end of the project. The second thing is information was there, communication was not happening. Data was there, but data was not being shared. So again, I think with the integration of the system of Salesforce with SAP, marketing and the R&D team has definitely helped in bringing in all data into one place and helping them to take those strategic decisions, which obviously again would have helped the management and the leadership to take the right decisions at the right time and improve their revenues.
And also control the duplication process and all those things and duplicate data.
Correct.
Also.
Sampling is a very unique process. We have seen this in other implementations also. Mostly, since this is done by the R&D team, information doesn't flow from the R&D team. Mostly, they are in a silo. They don't interact with the rest of the teams. So the sales team picks up a order. The first thing they need to ship a sample. It could be a global customer. The sample might be required somewhere in North America. Client is sitting in Bangalore, the R&D is in Delhi. So the sales guy has to raise the system and then follow up. It's a very difficult process. But in Salesforce, the advantage is definitely once a sales guy, he might be sitting somewhere in North America. He will just punch it there in the system, and then the R&D team will instantly pick up that and they are able to pack it and send the sample, and he is able to track the sample.
Yeah, because of all the state change and all those things.
Everything is visible. So I think that's again a unique feature that we built for this customer. The other thing was important thing that Jishna brought out at the end of the presentation was it's not just features that are important. There are thousands, hundreds of features in Salesforce, but just enabling those features is not sufficient. I think governance is very important. Discipline by the end users, by the teams and the leadership from the client side and also from our side as individual developers who are involved, the consultants who are involved, the project managers involved. All of us need to be across the customer's side team and the implementation partners team. There must be some kind of a synergy. Unless that is not achieved, I don't think a project can be successful. We must believe in each other, accept that whatever we are doing, the end objective is common, and to achieve that end common objective, we should work in synergy with the customer's team and ensure that the objective of the customer is achieved. And that can be done only when the leadership from the customer side and the leadership from the implementation partner side are together, are like we say, bonded by hip, so that the end objective is achieved. So I think this is one important learning that we get from this implementation experience that Jishna shared. Thank you, Jishna, once again. I'm sure all of us here have learned some good lessons from this project, and we will continue this series, similar series of project experience sharing going forward. I'm sure next week we'll have one more session, and for those of the viewers who will be viewing this video on YouTube, if you have anything to share, please place your your comments, which will be useful for us to improve in our next sessions. Thank you everybody.
Thank you.